Justice Minister Jody Wilson-Raybould introduced major changes to the country's impaired driving laws Thursday, including provisions that will allow for mandatory roadside alcohol screening and new criminal offenses for driving while high. The legislation, introduced concurrently with the government's cannabis legalization bill, will allow police to demand a driver provide an oral fluid sample saliva if they suspect a driver is drug impaired. A positive reading could lead to further testing, including a blood test, to determine whether a criminal offense has been committed. 3 new drug-related offenses will also be created for drivers who have consumed drugs within 2 hours of driving. A driver who is found to have 2 nanograms but less than 5 nanograms of THC per milliliter of blood could face a maximum fine of up to $1,000. THC is the primary psychoactive found in cannabis. A driver who has a blood level of more than 5 nanograms of THC, or has been drinking alcohol and smoking pot at the same time, will face a fine and the possibility of jail time. In more serious cases, a drug-impaired driver could face up to 10 years if convicted. The government did not specify which drug testing device it would recommend police use for enforcement, but other jurisdictions use the drug wipe system, which can detect traces of cannabis, opiates, cocaine, amphetamine, methamphetamines, MDMA, ecstasy, benzodiazepines and ketamine. Impaired driving is the leading cause of criminal death and injury in Canada, Liberal MP Bill Blair, the government's pot legalization czar, said Thursday in announcing the legislation. In order to further protect Canadians, our government has committed to creating new and stronger laws to punish more severely those who drive while impaired by cannabis, alcohol and other drugs. This bill, if it passes, will be one of strongest impaired driving pieces of legislation in the world and am very proud of that, Wilson-Raybould added. However, by comparison, the European Union has a limit of just 1 nanogram of THC, and the United Kingdom has a limit of 2 nanograms. Australia and many U.S. states have zero tolerance, which effectively criminalizes driving with any detectable level of prohibited drugs in one's body. Some researchers, including those at the U.S.-based National Institute on Drug Abuse, have suggested there is simply no adequate way to measure THC levels, or to determine just how drugged a person is in a roadside test. Those concerns were shared by conservative leadership contender Erin O'Toole. Public safety officials at all levels of government have outstanding concerns about how to implement marijuana legislation and how to manage the costs associated with it. Of great concern, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has not addressed the fact that there are no proven, reliable tests yet available for determining impairment from marijuana use, he said in a statement. Police officers will also now be able to demand a breathalyzer sample from any driver they lawfully stop. Previously, a test could only be administered if an officer had reasonable suspicion that a driver was impaired by alcohol.